How's it going, my truant people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back on Pokemon Showdown with our LTC Week 2 battle. Today, I am your coach of the Lake District Spirits, and today we're going up against a good friend of mine in Checkmate, Ben, coach of the Maypole Green Grovyles. And a lot of you guys probably know Ben. He's a really good battler. I think he's won the UCC every year that it's been going, bar one. He's just a super good battler. And this is my first time ever battling him, so I'm really excited for that. I did help him mock last week, and I think he 6-0'd me several times. He's one, he's a superior battler to me. Two, his playstyle seems to fit very well against mine, and he does very well against me, and I struggle to break him. I don't know. This is a battle that I was definitely dreading. Particularly, I should talk about his roster. So he has a Cradilly, a Luxray, a Persimmon, a Pangoro, a Grumpig, a Macargo, a Kecleon, an Iselgor, a Kricketune, a Grovyle, and a Quagsire. I believe that's his whole roster. Yes, I just did that from memory. I'm pretty pleased with that. I probably got it wrong, but I think that's his whole roster. So things I'm worried about: Cradilly, Stockpile, Ingrain, Toxic, Rest, or something of that nature. That's what he kept sweeping me with in the mock battles, and it was just disgusting. Luxray under Trick Room, Flame Orb, Guts, Facade, killing everything under Trick Room. Grumpig, setting Trick Room, Thick Fat to switch into my Cryogonal and wall that thing. Just generally be bulky and obnoxious. What else? Iselgor and Kricketune, potential web setters. Kind of scared of webs. Not really sure how I'm going to handle them. Macargo, Shell Smash Macargo. Was pretty confident that would come and was pretty scared of that. They were the things that I was really worried about. Potential threats to my team. So this is the team that I built to try and counter that. Hypno here is a dedicated Cradilly check. Wish, Protect, Taunt, Toxic. Basically just stores Cradilly out of PP for a long time. Very boring as a replay for you guys to watch, but was just here to do a job and would have done that job if I needed it to. But I couldn't actually fully outstore Cradilly because I think Cradilly would have more PP, but could certainly run it down very low so that it couldn't outstall everything on my team. Then we have Sork. This thing was supposed to set up on the Cradilly and sweep, or at least set up late game and sweep was the hope. Waterium Z Rain Dance. By the way, the reason that Sean, our shiny Hypno, named after Iconoclast, our week 1 opponent, the reason that this thing is max defense and max HP is basically so that I can take close combats from what I expect to be a Choice Scarf Persimmon. A little bit of speed just to make sure that I definitely outspeed Cradilly or anything like that, and taunt it in case he thinks, hey, he might try and taunt my Cradilly. Let me try and speed creep him. Or I don't know. Anything like that. Macargo, maybe, if it's like min speed and wants Shell Smash. Although you'd probably be max speed and Shell Smash. But nevertheless, just there to give a bit of speed. Make sure nothing's speed creeping me so I can get my taunts off. Then we have Andrew Sork, our captain. Named after, of course, Andrew, who's always around in the comment section. Probably, I want to say, our longest serving subscriber here, I guess. I've pretty much been around since day one. And kind of think of him as a good friend of the channel at this point. So we decided to name Sork, our captain of our team, after him. Shiny Sork, because Shiny Sork looks awesome, guys. I've never seen it before now, but it looks incredible, in my opinion. This is a Z Rain Dance set. Basically, wanted to get a speed boost. Figured I could do it against the Cradilly pretty safely. Laser Focus, because again, I figured I could get that off against the Cradilly, even if he got some stockpiles up. I'm destroying that thing. Knockoff was there to hit things like the Grumpig. And Close Combat pretty much ran through the rest of his team. You heard his team there. Nothing really switched into a Close Combat apart from the Grumpig, which doesn't like a knockoff. And his two bug types, Kricketune and Iselgor, if I've got rocks up, they don't take a Close Combat particularly well either. So that was my kind of thinking there. This was supposed to be our late game sweeper. Then we have Checkmate going up against Checkmate himself, which is really fun. Our Kebia Berry Gramble. This thing was kind of my Persimmon check. It ate a Poison Jab from a Scarf Persimmon for about 33% after the Intimidate. It also just destroyed it with a Play Rough. It hit the Pangoro super hard with the Play Rough. There wasn't Pangoro. Couldn't gunk shot me that well with the Kebia Berry there. After an Intimidate as well. So this thing was really just to check those two types particularly. Earthquake to hit the Macargo. Close Combat to hit the Cradilly. And Super Fang just to try and wear things like the Grumpig down. Max HP because obviously I wanted to try and live that Poison Jab through the Kebia Berry. Max attack because I wanted to make sure I was kind of taking things out and being a threat. Then we have Young Bray, our Mud Bray. First time I'm getting to show off Young Bray. I'm excited to have her here. Earthquake, Toxic, Stealth Rock, Endeavor. This set was super fun. It's supposed to wall the Macargo, ideally, even if it gets to +2 after a Shell Smash. Fire Blast shouldn't Oko me. Earthquake should Oko him. Certainly after Rocks, I believe it would anyway. I think it would anyway. Earthquake also just hit the Cradilly for neutral damage, hit a couple of things decently well. Toxic, and it's Stab, of course. Toxic to kind of wear down things like the Cradilly, the Grumpig, whatever else. Stealth Rock, because it was good to have Rocks in this battle. He had a couple of things that I thought could be Focus Sash. Endeavor, because if I got too low, I could Endeavor something, and I thought that would be really fun. This HP, as I say, the Spadef was to live a +2 Fire Blast from the Macargo. The defense means I can pretty much take 2 hits from Pangoro, Passimian, and Luxray especially. Can take 2 hits after I get my stamina boost. So I could wall a lot of things with Young Bray here. Impish Nature, of course, to boost that defense. Then we have Crowgonor, named Foss, because look at this man's face. Look how angry he is. I'm pretty sure this was Dean during the LTC and the PIBA draft when I was messaging him like every day, like, what about this? What about this? Should I draft this? How about this? How have I drafted all this? And I'm sure he must have been looking at his phone like that angrily, you know? And also because when I was asking him about defoggers and removal, he said Crowgonor was a decent remover, even though I was like a bit skeptical. He said it's okay, it's not bad. So that's part of the reason that I ended up trading for Crowgonor. So I thought I'd name it after him. Expert Belt, because it means that I 2-shot non-bulky Grumpig, and I 3-shot even bulky Grumpig with Signal Beam. Ice Beam should 2-hit KO Cradilly, and Haze gets away its, takes away its stat boosts. That's what I'm trying to say. It's stockpiles, that's the word I'm looking for. It takes away its stockpiles with the Haze, so I can definitely 2-shot it with Ice Beam. Freeze Dries for that Quagsire. I needed something to hit the Quagsire, even though I didn't expect it to come, because I do have a Sceptile on my roster, and Quagsire just doesn't have a great matchup here. Then we have Mariabella, our Swellow, one of the kind of talismans of the channel here. You see her in the outro every video I upload here. With the Scarf set, because I was pretty confident Scarf Passimian would come. So I was trying to outspeed that, which I guaranteed did with no speed investment. Also outsped Aselgor, everything else on his team. Brave Bird, even without the Guts boost, really tore through his team. Hidden Power Ground could have taken out Macargo after Rocks damage, I think, if it was a fast Macargo, if it was max speed, max special attack, timid or modest, trying to get a Shell Smash off. Catch him by surprise with Hidden Power Ground to take that thing out. U-Turn was just a nice pivot, and Facade was so that I could get that boost. If I switched into, say, a Toxic from the Cradilly, I could get that boosted Facade with the Guts still here. Sweep through his team. He didn't have a Scrappy Mon, so I didn't feel the... a Ghost Mon, so I didn't feel the need to run Scrappy. Basically ran it with max attack and enough special attack to take out that Macargo, like I said, with the rest just stuck into HP so that I could try and live a hit. The idea being that that way Brave Birds wouldn't do too much recoil to me, so I could fire off a few Brave Birds without taking too much. I kind of have feelings about this set after the battle, which I'll talk about during the battle. But yeah, that was my team. This is the team we built. In the rest of my prep, I had to rustle this team very quickly, but briefly I had a Psych Up, Belly Drum, Rest, Return, Licky Licky that was supposed to psych up the stat boosts from the Cradilly, Belly Drum, rest it off, and then sweep his team. That thing was stupid. Didn't bring it for obvious reasons, because it was a dumb set that only worked if his Cradilly got set up, so I decided not to bring that. I also had an AV Blastoise in here at some point. I also had a Tang in here at some point, but I was trying to build very, very quickly, and this team just made the most sense to me. What I was really unhappy with is I didn't have enough removal. I didn't have any removal, in fact. So I was a little bit disappointed with that, but, you know, my team wasn't super weak to rocks. I had 2 resistances, only 2 weaknesses, I guess, but I don't know. I felt like my 2 weaknesses were very fast. The reason I had this much speed, sorry, I should say, in Foss is because this outspeed a Jolly Grovyle, which could do about 70% to me with a Drain Punch or a Rock Slide, so that's why Foss was that fast. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Everything else I think I explained. Yes, I did. So, all that being said, that was the team I bought. Wish I had more removal. I knew that going into battle. I knew it was very heavily countering the Cradilly and the Luxray and the Passimian, especially Choice Scarf Passimian, which I just thought was a guaranteed bring. I'm going to get into battle now, and we'll see what he did bring and how it all panned out. So here we are in the battle, guys, and if I play and then pause, will it let me? No, it's not going to let me. Okay, so I was hoping that I could get rid of this thing in the middle because it annoys me. But anyway, here we are in the battle, guys, and you can see at team preview that he didn't bring what I expected him to bring. We don't see the Passimian, which means he can't have brought Choice Scarf Passimian. We don't see the Cradilly, so we can't have brought set up Cradilly. That God I didn't bring the Lickitung set or the Licky Licky set I was going to bring. And we don't see the Luxray, so I was like, Ben, you words that I shouldn't say. Your team preview, I do not like this. What have you done? Okay, so Shell Smash Macargo, still confident it might be that. This team looks like a Web's Offense team, so I don't think it's going to be Trick Room Grumpig. I think it's just going to be a bulky, thick, fat Grumpig. Try and eat some hits. And I expect it to be like a Sweeper Dramper under Trick Room. It's under Web, sorry. Maybe, but even that, I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's going to be some setup on this team more than anything because I don't know what else he's really going to do here. So, as my lead, I decided to lead with Swellow. I knew that I could U-turn on pretty much everything. And I can maybe scare out his hazard setters if he wanted to lead with Web straight away. So we led off with the Swellow, Mariabella here. He goes into Meat Pound to Pangoro. I U-turn knowing that he's not going to stay in. We managed to get the U-turn off. We do 90. We do 8% on the Macargo. I could have just clicked Hidden Power Ground there straight away turn 1 because I did expect the Macargo to come in. But I didn't think that was worth it. I didn't think it was worth doing that just in case he had like Focus Sash Pangoro or he stayed in with Pangoro and killed me if he had like whatever the berry is that resists flying moves. I don't know which berry that would be. But if he had flying resist berry so that he could stay in with Pangoro and he was predicting that lead or something, I just didn't think it was worth it. So I just U-turned out. Got in Young Bray. I knew he wouldn't stay in with Young Bray, so I went for Stealth Rocks. I figured this might be Defog Dramper, so I went into Cryogonal to threaten it out. Indeed, it was Defog Dramper. I'm actually going to slow it down a little bit here. Then he goes into a Selgor, and I fire off the Ice Beam because I feel like Ice Beam hits most of his team decently well. The only thing he can really go into Macargo, and if he goes into Macargo, I could probably go back into Swellow or into something else and threaten it out, maybe back into the Mudbray. So I wasn't too worried about this turn of events. I feel like it was a free Ice Beam to get some chip on something. He goes into his Aselgor, and this is the first time I was rocked in the battle, because this should have done about 70%. It should have done double this. It actually did 37%, as you can see here. It should have done double that. It should have done a hell of a lot more than 37%. And so I was really rocked. I was like, is this AV? Like, I think this is AV. And then we see here that he gets the leftovers, recovery back, but at this point, I'm already calking. So I'm like, this thing's AV. This thing's AV offensive, because I just didn't think he would bring, like, crazy bulky Aselgor. So I'm like, right, it's AV, stupidly. So I start trying to figure out what it's going to do to me. I think, okay, it's going to have Focus Blast, but at least I know it's not Webs. So I go into Swellow, hoping that he doesn't click Focus Blast, hoping that it's something else. Focus Blast probably would have absolutely destroyed me anyway, but I just didn't really know what I was going to do. Probably should have gone into Hypno with Hindsight, but if you click Bug Buzz, I'd have dropped to that anyway. Didn't feel like I had a great switch into this thing, so I went, maybe I should have gone Gramble, I don't know. But I went into Mariabella, and he revealed that he had Knockoff, and he got in my Choice Scarf, and again, I was kind of scared here, because I was like, oh, damn, like, I don't know what I outspeed on his team and what I don't anymore, but I know that I can click Brave Bird here, and I'm probably alright. So, indeed, we just go straight for the Brave Bird, I believe, as he switches out into Macargo, which he's already shown as his dedicated answer to Mariabella. At this point, I get 23%, and I know I get the burn as well, which he realizes in the chat is a problem. Like, he realizes, oh, this thing is going to be Guts. He knows I'm not going to be Scrappy, and he knows I might have Facade as well, so he realizes that's a problem. But he stays in because why wouldn't you? And I click Hidden Power Ground because, again, why wouldn't I? I get 50%, so I realize, okay, this is a really bulky Macargo. He goes for Rocks, expecting me to kind of switch out. Someone in the chat here said, ooh, mixed Swellow, and he said, I was expecting that, don't worry. So that was really interesting that he did anticipate that. I get 12% off here with a Hidden Power Ground, which shows me that this Grumpig is probably max HP. I didn't bother to run any other calcs because I was like, it's probably max HP, a little bit in defense, a little bit in HP or whatever else, in special defense. So then I started to run the calc for how much a Facade does to this thing. And if I remember correctly, hopefully I can actually show you guys here. So obviously this isn't great, the way the screen's cropped this isn't great, but you can kind of see what I'm trying to say here with the Facade. So this is to a max HP, max Fizz Def, bold Grumpig. I do 72 to 85, that's the wrong tab, where am I? I'm here. And he's on 88, so I'm like, okay, if he's max defense bold, I don't take him out. But if he's anything else, say max defense modest, as you can see there, Facade is a roll still, but he's at 88%, I believe, so let me just run this to 88% for you guys. I have a 40% chance to take him out, and that's if he's 252 in defense. So I'm thinking, okay, like I've got like a 50-50 shot if his nature's specially defensive, and And if he puts any EVs in special defense, and he has a specially defensive nature, which makes a lot of sense because he's going to want to switch in with his thick fat into my cryogonal. So I'm thinking, okay, he's more than likely going to have a special defensive nature and some special defensive EVs in there, which means I should have at least a 50-50 shot to take him out from this range. I don't want to switch back into rocks and take more burn damage later on because I'm then going to be down to about 20%, so even one Brave Bird will probably just kill me. So I'm like, I've just got to go for the roll here. This is where I talked about having regrets about my Mariabella set. Because what we actually find out is that he lives on 7% and he gets his Iapapa Berry. He lives on 7% because he is a max Fizz Death bold Grumpig. He actually had nothing in special defense whatsoever. That sucked. That really, really sucked. So the reason that I regretted my set is because if I hadn't put the extra in HP that I did to try and live some Brave Bird recoil, if I just put max special attack, max attack, which I think I would do next time, I wouldn't be this specific with it, then the Hidden Power Ground would have done maybe like another 5-6%, maybe would have given me a better chance. Maybe if I'd got that 7% more with the roll. In fact, we can do it. We can do it right now. Let's do it right now. So he has 0 special defense and he's a bold nature. So Hidden Power Ground was doing 10 to 12%. If I'd done max special attack, it would have done, it only would have done up to 14, so it really wouldn't have mattered. In that case, it's irrelevant. I guess my set was not bad. I hadn't calculated that before the replay, but there we go. But yeah, that was what I was kind of thinking. Oh, maybe I should have got more Hidden Power Ground damage with the more special attack, and that would have been fine, but I guess not. So yeah, he does live, and he does just take us out with a Psychic. I think, well, that's not the end of the world, because I still go into my dedicated Grumpig check, which is false, and I can fire off a Signal Beam. I know that I probably Oko this thing, but I don't expect him to stay in. So I pull the double into Checkmate, expecting to see the Macargo come in. And he actually just goes for a Thunder Wave, and I regret that play so much because he would have dropped to that Signal Beam. I tried to play aggressive, and it was really stupid. I should have just clicked Signal Beam, because what I find out here as I Super Fang him down is he is a Recycle Iapapa Gluttony set. I didn't even know this thing got Gluttony. I didn't bother to check. I just assumed, hey, he's going to want to switch into Ice Beams, so he's going to have Thick Fat. I did not prep for this thing at all. I have to click Play Rough here because it actually does more than a Super Fang. It does around 50%. I clicked the Super Fang before because it made sense if you wanted to switch into anything else. So I'm just like, oh god, he's just basically completely neutered my Checkmate, and he can just keep clicking Recycle until he gets to full. I decided to switch out here to try and pressure this thing because I know he's going to get to full and then just switch next turn and kill me anyway. So at least this way I get a bit more momentum and I can press Toxic here. Nothing really wants to come into a Toxic. I think that was a bad play. I think I should have stayed in and Super Fanged anyway, to be honest. But there we go. So I got the Toxic on him, making sure that I did get some chip because I'm still thinking Sork can still win here. I know it doesn't seem likely, but Sork can still sweep here. Unfortunately, we get paralyzed when we go for the Toxic. This Toxic would have been really, really nice. It wouldn't have decided the game or anything, but it would have been really, really nice. So that kind of sucked. I stay in and go for the Toxic again. We get paralyzed again. That really sucked because this thing's not only not getting Toxic damage racking on it, but it's getting leftover recovery. I decided to switch because I expect a Bug Buzz to come out at this point. He shows the knockoff, so I really could have stayed in because I lost my Expert Belt, which sucked here. And it put Foss in range of dying to this thing. His set was super weird, and he actually revealed to me after the game that he didn't even have Bug Buzz, so I didn't need to switch out. I would have tanked the knockoff, I'm sure. I go into Young Bray here. I'm like, okay, well, at the very least, I can get a Toxic on this thing, and I can set up rocks. That's important. Sure, he can take away my Violite, but I get Stamina Boost. I don't know what he's really going to do to me anyway. All he's really shown at this point is a knockoff. So I get the Toxic on him, start wearing him down. I'm going to go for rocks this turn because it just makes sense. He reveals the Giga Drain here, which does a lot more than I was expecting him to have because he hadn't shown a lot else. I just go for rocks. And I'm starting to think, okay, so maybe now I can still sweep. With the rocks, maybe I can get a little bit more chip on Grumpig, a little bit more chip on Kricketune, and I sweep. I win from that point. Unless Macargo gets a Flame Orb Burn on me, but he's set T-Spike, so I can't get a Flame Orb Burn. All I've got to do is get like 10% more on Grumpig, maybe, if he had an item. And I was forgetting at this point that his berry had been used because he recycled, so he didn't have an item for knockoff, which sucked. So I'm trying to kind of maybe draw the Grumpig out here, although this wouldn't really help, but at least I'm going to get some chip off on the Aselgor. Thought he might go into Kricketune. I needed some chip on that as well, so that would have helped. Instead, he goes into Pangoro, doubles out into Macargo. I'm okay with that. That's just more chip for me. I'm still just sitting here paralyzed, so I don't get my Toxic off again, which really sucks. In fact, no, sorry. I should go back and explain those turns because they were quite crucial. On the Aselga, what I actually do is I protect first turn. I got this wrong. I protect here. Then I click Wish because I realize that I can probably go into Gramble on this thing. So I click Wish here, planning to go out into the Gramble. That doesn't happen. So I click Wish again, hoping to go out into Gramble anyway, maybe. So I click Wish again here, get paralyzed again, so I don't get to go out into Gramble. Then I believe I do get my Wish off this turn, but he gets to start recovering. So if I'd gone into my Gramble there when he'd recovered, perfect. My Gramble would have been healed up. Unfortunately, I had to click Toxic because I see... why did I click Toxic? I should have just clicked Wish again. I don't know why I clicked Toxic. But anyway, yeah, I click Toxic, and then I go for the Wish as he goes for a second recover, letting him get back to full. So I actually laid off the pressure there with the Wishes, which was my fault. Then we try going into Checkmate. And of course, because he's back at full, he's just free to click Lava Plume. So that really, really sucked because I just mistimed my Wish there. I got impatient, I think, and started hitting Toxic instead. I got frustrated by the paras. It does suck that I think he got like 4 out of 6 para turns or something on the Hypno, but that's Pokemon. Here I realise my only chance to win is to sweep. The Hypno's not going to really do anything, and I can set up on this Macargo fine because it can't touch me. Z-Rain Dance means Lava Plume does 0. He can't burn me because there's the poison. I can get close combat and he can't get the flame body poison, so that's amazing. My only chance is to crit some things here, and I'm forgetting, of course, that the Grumpig doesn't have an item at this point. He goes into Kricketune. The only way I beat him is with a crit, and I have to crit like 3 more things. So I go for Laser Focus, hoping that he doesn't have anything to hit me with, and of course he has the Aerial Ace. So I drop to the Kricketune. Then we go into Sean. We see that he has Leech Life, which is going to take me out more than likely. It does about 58%. All I can do is Toxic this thing and try and stall it out. Obviously not going to work once he's got that Leech Life, but that's still my best play. So I go for Toxic. I go for Protect here. Then I think I go for the Wish, seeing the Fell Stinger trying to take me out cheekily with the Fell Stinger. So I think I go for the Wish, hoping I can live another one and maybe stall him out and save some differential. I can't stall him out. I can't live another Fell Stinger, and he just drops me there anyway. So we get 5-0'd week 2, and Kricketune gets 2 kills at the end. I don't know what to say about this battle other than I over-prepped for things that didn't come. I psyched myself out. If you guys were watching Owl, I did exactly what I did against Stropful. When there's a player that I look up to so much and I know well, I sometimes just over play. I try and play really aggressive, and it comes back to bite me in the ass. Had I saved Mariabella, had I not gone into the Gramble, I think it was when I did, and a number of other plays, I could have won this. This game was still there. This team was very beatable for what I brought. I allowed Grumpig to psych me out, and I allowed the team he brought to psych me out, and I guess I gave him too much respect. So, moving forward, against players that I know that I'm a bit nervous about playing, I'm going to try and not be as aggressive. I've got to play the game and not the man at the end of the day, and I think that's my problem, is I play the event a little bit, the occasion, looking at who's in front of me rather than what's in front of me, and I'm going to work on that, guys. I'm going to work on that. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was still a good battle. And by me saying that I think I could have won this if I'd played better, that's no knock against Ben. He still played excellently. He did everything he had to do to beat me. So I can't, you know, me saying that isn't a slight to him at all. It's just me saying like, I think I could have done better. I think I could have done better. So there we go. You live and you learn. And we'll be back week 3 against, I don't know who. But we'll be back week 3 against someone next Sunday. I hope you guys are looking forward to that. That's it from me. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.